At this time, the Roaring Twenties was kicking off. These Roaring Twenties allowed women to be closer to the more luxurious clothing. One major event that happened during the 1920s was the feminine liberation movement and the 19th Amendment, which allowed women to vote. This 19th Amendment was a huge step in women's rights, causing women to begin wearing loosely fitted clothing to show their confidence and respect. In the 1920s, women wanted to be free and liberated, which affected their attire greatly as well. These women went from wearing things like corsets to wearing things that did not quite show off their bodies for the same reason. One extremely popular accessory was the cloche hat. This hat had been evolved many times and was still transforming and evolving until 1930. The cloche hat was a tight-fitting hat that was not worn straight up and down but tilted. This hat was tilted so that it would cover the forehead but still was clear of the eyes. Women's hair was cut short to be able to fit under these tight hats. In the 1920s, the flappers also evolved. The flappers were the same hairstyles as the ones that the women would wear to fit under the cloche hats. The flappers were a short, cut dress that was straight and loose with the cloche hats. Through the 20s, though, the styles that the flappers wore did change. In the early 1920s, the length of the dresses went about to mid-calf. Between the years 1926 and 1928, the length of the dress went about to the knee, which was the shortest it had ever been. Also in the 1920s, the waistline of the dress went below the waist to provide a more boyish look. During the 1930s, though, the waistline moved back up to normal position, providing a more feminine look. All of these changes were happening because of many movements in women's rights, but also because of all the general change, including new ideas in technology, newfound buying power, fashion magazines, and even World War I. The 1930s continued on to be more soft and feminine. Women went from the big sun hats covering half their face to now wearing small plate hats that sat on the side of their head, revealing the forehead. Unlike the 1920s, the fashion style was not inspired by the economic hardships in the 30s. People now wanted the extravagance and high-class style that they saw in movies and papers they read, but could not get it. During the war years, new clothes were limited due to the limited amount of manufactured fabric. Women began to wear clothing items inspired by their war service. Unlike the beginning of the 30s, women didn't feel as free in their style. These women were feeling fierce and fearless. These women did not care that they had to wear the small, dirty outfits because they had pride. After the war, though, the women started feeling like a weight was lifted off their shoulders and continued on with their high class of dress.